Yes, lads and ladies, welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all doing okay, and today I'm going to be bringing you your unbiased Premier League show, reviewing and taking a look at the weekend's games. As I say, I love doing this show, so guys, make sure to show your support by smashing that subscribe button, hit the like button if you haven't already, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. On the content side of things, you can expect to see all kinds of Tottenham Hotspur content, whether it be match previews, match reviews, player ratings, predicted lineups, unbiased Premier League shows, quizzes, the whole shebang. So make sure to smash that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get into the weekend's game. So we'll start things off with Saturday's 12:30 kickoff. Obviously, usually a very, very good time for a football game. Tottenham have only played in that slot, I believe, once this season, and that was against Leeds United. But as I say, the first game on Saturday was Burnley versus Arsenal. Sean Dyche versus Lego head Mikel Arteta. And I found this to be a very, very intriguing and interesting game. Obviously, Arsenal scored 5 minutes in. I thought Arsenal were really, really dominating that game. I thought they were really impressive within the first few minutes, I'd say, and impressive for the first half, yet individual mistakes very similar to Tottenham Hotspur come to cost them. It's Granit Xhaka, one of the worst mistakes of the season. Goal of the season, guys. Goal of the season, Arsenal. But no, seriously, Granit Xhaka, right, boots the ball straight out, I believe it was, I'm not 100% who it was, but he boots the ball straight at the Burnley attacker. He had acres of space to clear it, acres of space to make a decent ball or pass, as I say. No creativity from him, and Granit Xhaka gives it straight away. Now, Granit Xhaka, for me, I've never been too fond of the guy. I don't think he's honestly that good of a player, and I can see what he definitely brings to the table. As I say, good in the air, set piece specialist, can whip in a great corner and hit a really good free kick. But apart from that, he commits so many fouls, and for me, the guy's got a temper, and, you have to learn to control that temper like many other Tottenham Hotspur players have. For example, the likes of Dele Alli came into this club with a temper. He's controlled it. He's a lot cooler and calmer, and Granit Xhaka hasn't controlled it, and once again, he gets a little carried away. For me, it was just silly, an awful mistake, as I say. And you're looking at Arsenal, right? A team that has always dominated us, always dominated the Premier League alongside Man United under the Wenger days. And they came to the Emirates and sacked Wenger to get top 4. Yet now they're fighting for top 10. Not even top 6. Top 10. And Mikel Arteta, we have to be honest. I saw League from AFTV said this in his interview. As a Spurs fan, this is my opinion on it. I think at the end of the day, Arsenal were 11th, and no way, shape or form should they be there. He's got players, in my opinion. He's not rotating them well enough. But as I say, North London derby next weekend, that one's going to be very, very interesting. Obviously, both teams do play in the Europa League. If you ask me, we do have an easier one, Dynamo Zagreb. And, they've got Olympiacos. So as I say, very, very intrigued for the Europa League, and as I say, the North London derby. So there'll be much more content on that side of things. But we must move on to the next game. As I say, Burnley 1, Arsenal 1 for the first one. Moving on to the next one, Sheffield United 0, Southampton 2. Now, I came into this game honestly thinking Sheffield would get an upset. I thought Southampton, for me, simply aren't good enough. Obviously, keep making individual errors that keep costing them, as I say. And here's the issue with Southampton. It's very similar to teams such as Brighton, who are down the bottom fighting for their life. Southampton aren't fighting for their life. They're more of a mid-table stable in the Premier League. But for me, the issue with Ralph is he goes too defensive at the beginning, concedes a goal, and then can't get one back. Because he has got a very attacking group of players, like Jose beforehand. Why defend with an attacking group of players? And for me, the group of players there, they do have good enough players. So there's no excuses saying, he's not achieving enough with that Southampton side. Because you look at the likes of Danny Ings, one of the best sides Southampton have ever got. And Pochettino took a woeful Southampton side to 8th in the league. So, work that one out if you ask me. And I just think, at the end of the day, they have been really struggling. Obviously, a 1-0 loss to Everton, and they just kept on falling down. But, they came out in this game and they showed desire, they showed passion, and easy as it sounds, a game at Bramall Lane is never as easy as it sounds, as I say. Although they're 20th, going to Bramall Lane, most teams do grind out a result, unless you're Manchester United, but you really have to work for that result, as I say. And fair play to Southampton. First goal, very nice goal, and the second goal from Southampton. What a bullet. That has to be up there for goal of the season. absolutely smashes it, an absolute rocket. I love those ones, you know, where you catch it clean, hit it first time, as I say, it rolls to him. You don't even control it, the guy, I believe it was Shay Adams, as I say, and just belts the ball into the back of the net. Keeper had no clue. It was absolutely delightful. Brilliant goal, I'd say. And that takes us on to the main event on Saturday, if you ask me, the 5:30 kickoff. I thought this game was going to be a cracker. Obviously, the first game was a real cracker. The one which don't sound like a cracker, but 2 red cards, as I say, a very intense derby. And this one didn't live up to it. As I say, Aston Villa 0, Wolves 0. Not a good result for both teams, honestly. Villa want to get European football. Wolves kind of, you know, I think they know they're not going to get European football, so they're just focusing on staying up. And they needed this win. They didn't get, as I say, their main man, Raul Jimenez, out. That has really affected them. And more so for Aston Villa, because they're making a real push for European football. And I think, you know, the one season that fans aren't in the stadium is the one season where they overachieve. And Dean Smith, you know, taking an Aston Villa, a mid-table championship side, you know, who normally finish 7th or 8th in the championship, sometimes here and they get a playoff place, getting them to, I believe, to win the playoffs, keep them in the Premier League last season, get loads and loads of money, spend that money so well on squad rotational players instead of just blasting it out on one player like Wolves did with Jimenez. And they've done a fantastic job this season. I think they do deserve European football. I don't think they'll get it. I think they'll finish about 9th or 10th in the league, I have to say. And, you know, if you're an Aston Villa fan, you can't complain about this 0-0 result, because you've had many moments this season which have been absolutely phenomenal. Fashion teams, 3-0 against Sheffield. Who can forget the 7-2 against Liverpool? Put up a great fight. Great fight against Liverpool. Still haven't played my beloved Spurs, as I say. But, you know, I think it's not the greatest result for both teams when it comes to Aston Villa. I think that kind of ends their push for European football, but it was good when it lasted. I've always had respect for Dean Smith and Aston Villa. I think they're a good team, as I say, and they play very nice football, and that's what we all, apart from Spurs, as I say, that's what we all want to see at the end of the day. Attacking-minded football, entertaining football. That's why we watch it, and as I say, that's what they do play. They were really unlucky not to score in this game. You know, truthfully, not that many events, no red cards, so, you know, 0-0. Fair for both teams, if you ask me. That takes us on to Saturday night's game. It was Leicester versus Brighton, and it did end Leicester 2, Brighton 1, right? Brighton, for me, they're a great side, right? They have got so many young, good players. Even Mulpay, an absolute shithouse, I think he's fantastic. You know, brilliant. As I say, you know, move us on to the right-back position. Tariq Lamptey, absolutely phenomenal player. Future superstar, if you ask me. Future England #1, maybe even. And then you've got the likes of Trossard as well. Well-talented, experienced and still able to do stuff. Adam Lallana. And Lallana really stood out in this one. But, you know, I'll get to the Leicester side of things. But, you know, going back to the Brighton, as I say, I feel bad for Graham Potter, because they put in such an effort, so attacking-minded. They normally score first and then they bottle it. And same thing that happened here, as I say, just like the derby against Crystal Palace, as I say. And they're so good. They're a real good side with real good players, attacking-minded football. Definitely one of the most entertaining sides to watch this season, as I say. And they were unlucky not to get a result here. But from the Leicester standpoint, massive result for Leicester. They needed to grind out 3 points if they want to keep that top 4 race alive, really keep that 3rd place, and that's exactly what they did. And not that 3rd place, I believe it's 2nd place right now, unless United is 2nd. But, you know, I think everyone thought Rodgers was going to bottle it again, yet he made a statement in that Brighton game. Brighton's never a tough game, especially away when you have to go to the Amex. We learnt that one when we lost 1-0 to him. But as I say, they went there, they won the game fair and square, and a very entertaining game as well. I did stay up and watch that one, and I thought the real star man in that game, honestly, was for Brighton, and it was Adam Lallana. And Lallana still got it, if you ask me. I like Lallana. I've always liked Lallana. As I say, older, and this is what some of these older players do, because they still have this magic. So they go to a smaller side, for example, and they dominate that side, as I say, and they put in some good performances, get much more game time. And that's exactly what Lallana's done, and it's a very clever move, right? Takes us on to Saturday's 12 o'clock kickoff. Oh, this was boring. West Bromwich Albion 0, Newcastle 0. Never was going to watch this game. Obviously, I was out playing football with my old man. Wasn't going to watch this game. Didn't watch this game. Good thing I didn't watch this game. Because apparently from what I've seen, well, I've seen the highlights of Match of the Day and all of that. But it simply was not a good game. So, as I say, this one, yeah, very, it wasn't good enough for both West Brom and Newcastle, as I say. But they both needed to grind out a result in this one, and they didn't. At the end of the day, they didn't. That takes us on to the next game, which is Liverpool versus Fulham. And wow, what a game it was. Liverpool 0, Fulham 1. 6 losses on the trot for Liverpool at Anfield in the first time in the club's history. Absolutely mental. Ludicrous for the Premier League champions. And it sounds madder and madder each time I say it. The Premier League champions, a team that dominated the Prem last season, absolutely dominated it, have now just crumbled this season. And the season that started off so positive for Liverpool, obviously bringing in Thiago, one of the best players in the world, honestly, you know, investing in new talent and everything, youth players coming through, the likes of Curtis Jones, you know, all of these. And then they had all these big players, the likes of Virgil injured, Salah had to go out due to COVID for 2 weeks, you know, Mane as well, all these big players being injured, Gomez, Trent was injured for a while, Robertson had to go for COVID, you know, all these big players at crucial times in the season, crucial parts have been injured out, even Jota, you know, their best player at the time who was getting them results, you know, gets injured himself, and it just, you know, I know people are going to be like, whether you're a Liverpool fan or not, you're going to be like, Klopp out. Is Jurgen Klopp going to be sacked? Will Klopp be sacked? All of this, all of that. My personal opinion on it, I think it would be absolutely ludicrous because he took a team of absolute nobodies, you know, and yes, he did get backed by FSG, but took a team of absolutely nobodies, invested all that money that FSG gave him in players that no one knew about, the likes of Firmino, Van Dijk, who was just a decent player at Southampton at the time, went on to become the best centre-half in basically the world. And that is down to Jurgen Klopp, because the guy is absolutely phenomenal. A brilliant manager. And you have to take all things into consideration this season and see, right, his mother's passed away, right? Rest in peace as well. I really do send out my condolences to him and his family. His mother's passed away, right? At the same time, you've got a goalkeeper, Alisson, who has taken some time out as well because his father's passed away. You know, all these issues come together and you have to look at it as a standpoint as it's not Jurgen Klopp's fault. You know, you have to look at this from the bigger picture. And in my opinion, if they were, if they were going to crumble any season, it would have to be this season. And, you know, I just think if you're a Liverpool fan, keep your head held high, right? Because you've won the Premier League and Champions League within 2 years under a fantastic manager. You've got a fantastic team, one of the best squads in the world, honestly. A fantastic team. And, you know, I just say keep your Keep your head held high, as I say. And, you know, hopefully something will come for you next season. And a massive part for these Anfield losses are without a doubt no fans. As I say, it's playing a massive factor. But they need to stop dropping points in these games. The games such as, you know, the Brighton 1-0, the Burnley 1-0, the Chelsea 1-0. They keep losing these games by 1-0. And you come out of these games saying Liverpool didn't have a bad performance. But at the end of the day, they're not the ones leaving with the 3 points. It's a famous Jose Mourinho quote. You can keep possession, I'll take the 3 points. And that's exactly what Fulham did. The ultimate smash and grab. All credit to Fulham. Yes, it was a mistake from Salah, but a clean, fantastic finish, as I say, from that free kick. And, you know, Fulham, for me, they definitely deserve to stay up. 26 points, the exact same points as whoever's in 17th right now. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's Newcastle, as I say. Newcastle could get relegated this season, but Fulham, for me, I think they're going to stay up. I think they got a good team. Scott Parker, you know, with the group of players that he has as well, he's done an absolutely phenomenal job. So I'd say great result for Fulham, and that takes us on to probably the biggest shock, actually, a bigger shock than the Fulham game, and it was Manchester United versus Manchester City, the Manchester derby. And I thought, you know, heading into this one, I thought, I'm not going to watch this game because I just think it's going to be Manchester United parking the bus, Man City might squeeze in a goal, United going extra defensively and, you know, trying to really counter-attack, and it's just going to end 1-0. My God, was I wrong. Manchester United 2, Manchester City 0. Absolute domination from Manchester United. Now, City didn't crumble in this game. City didn't do anything wrong. The tactics weren't wrong, in my opinion. The players weren't playing good enough, you know. It's all down to Manchester United and all credit. And it's a real Ole Gunnar Solskjaer performance when, you know, your back's up against the wall, you push that person over and you hit him in the face. Because that is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does. Whenever his back's against the wall, he excels. And I think in this game, you know, he did an absolute brilliant job. The ultimate smash and grab, and it reminded me very much of earlier in the season when, you know, we were playing the likes of Arsenal and City. Get that early goal. They got a goal within the first minute. A penalty in the first minute. Bruno slots it away. Park the bus, go defensive. Works against Manchester City. They had a couple opportunities which City could have been clinical, let's be honest here. And that's the one downfall for City in this game. They could have been clinical, as I say. And then straight in the second half, the first couple of minutes in the second half, United press again. City expect them to park the bus. They press again. They score another goal. And then they sit back extra defensively. So clever. And honestly, as weird as it sounds, you know, us Tottenham fans and many other fans have been calling Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a PE teacher, saying he don't know his tactics. I think that was a tactical masterclass, very similar to the likes of Jose's performances earlier in the season against Arsenal, all of those. And what a shock it was. So I guess Manchester is red, but in my opinion, it's still white after the 6-1 and the 2-0. I'm not forgetting those two, as I say. But you know, Manchester currently red. Mad result. Fair play to United, and I think they will get top 4. In my opinion, when it comes to top 4, I'm sure I'll do a video after the Premier League season, a massive long Unbiased Premier League show, looking back at my Premier League predictions and basically taking a look at them. But you know, in my opinion, I think top 4 this season now. I'm going to give you another update. I think it's going to be, I'm going to stick with City top, obviously. I think it's going to be Chelsea second, United third. Maybe it's going to be between Leicester and Spurs for that 4th place. I think West Ham will crumble. They're doing really well. And we will get to West Ham soon, as I say. But before we get there, Tottenham 4, Palace 1. I'm not going to delve into this game too much. Obviously, we went through it a lot. Covered the game, obviously. If you want to check out more content for that, check out Bobby's debrief and my instant match reaction / review. So check that out. As a dominant performance from Tottenham, that takes us on to Monday evening's games. 2 games on Monday evening and 2 absolute crackers. So, you know, same result for both of them, but 2 really entertaining games. Obviously, I did watch both. So, you know, we'll start things off. Chelsea 2, Everton 0. Dominant performance from Chelsea. I think Everton definitely could have been clinical, as I say, but you know, let's be 100% honest here. Tuchel is gotten playing ball, and definitely next season, I think Chelsea do have a good chance of winning the Premier League. I think they definitely will be in the run for that Premier League title. I think they'll without doubt get top 4 this season, as I say. I think they might come second in the league, Chelsea. And Tuchel has gotten playing ball. He's gotten playing really well. Pass it around the park well, create opportunities, score a goal, basically. Let the other team have possession, press them very high, get the ball back, keep possession, score another goal, game done. Sit back defensively, extra defensively. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic from Chelsea. And the one person who stood out for me in this game was Kai Havertz. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. Now, in my opinion, looking at the lineups from a neutral point of view, obviously I can't stand Chelsea, but I'm going to say from a neutral point of view, I thought Havertz, that's just a ludicrous decision. Why would you play him up top? The guy's been off form recently, and he came in and he kind of adapted to that centre forward / striker role, and he adapted really well. And for me, he gets man of the match in this game. And that takes us on to the final game of the weekend, Monday night's 8 o'clock kickoff. West Ham United 2, Leeds United 0. Now Leeds, they're without doubt the most entertaining side this season to watch. And honestly, I don't know how Bielsa's legs are still working at this point, because the amount that he actually crouches down, I can't do that crouch position for a couple minutes. But you know, I think Leeds United, same tactics as per usual. I can't comment on them. Can't really comment on their performance. Obviously, they're going to stay up, so fair play to them. But that one was more about West Ham, and that one was about West Ham basically saying, we're here to stay. We're not going to bottle it this season. We are going to go for European football. Now, I don't think they'll get Champions League football, but I do think they have a high chance of getting European football. Nevertheless, this has been the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and as always, come on, you Lily Whites.